we're talking about is the Celebrator Beer News 25th Anniversary Double Pale Ale from Sierra Nevada Brewery. This guy right over here. And we're having so much fun with this beer because, quite frankly, it's the original recipe, but we kind of goosed it a little bit. That's what we were trying to do. And, you know, we added some more modern hops like Citra. We used your dry hopping, but also the torpedo. I mean, it's there. Use it, right?
Yep.
And we also used a experimental hop called 366, which Vinny is telling me is going to be the new rage. He says, how did you manage to nail that? Gail had her hands in the hop bin, right?
Well, it was really fun going into the refrigerated hop room at Sierra and being able to just rummage through and then mix the hops in your hands and say, you know, about 30% of this one, and it was so wonderful.
She kept coming up to me going, smell this, smell it, smell it, smell it. You know, anyway.
It was in a huge crowd of crazy journalists running around making a beer together, and I'm really happy with it. I think most people probably call it a double IPA, but I think, yeah, it's an anniversary Imperial Pale. What the hell?
It's Sierra Nevada paying homage to the original recipe and bringing it to another level with a nod to the future is what we were trying to do there. So Sierra Nevada, Celebrator Beer News 25th Anniversary, Double Pale Ale. Find it if you can. If you live where a Celebrator writer happens to be living, I'll bet it'll show up at his or her local real soon. Check it out.
We had a fantastic time at beer camp with the Celebrator group. Largest camp we ever had, but it was so easy to manage because it was a great group. We came up with a beer that was sort of a spin-off on our pale ale, a double pale ale, so to speak, a lot of Cascade in it, and then finish it with some modern hops in the torpedo, some experimental hops. I think it's really well balanced for a big beer, and surprisingly and probably a little too easy to drink for what it is, but we enjoyed it and we had a blast, so I hope they did as well.
What has this publication done for this industry over the last 25 years?
Oh, the Celebrator? The same thing I told Brett and Julie when I first met them. I told them, you know, we need something to bring us all together. Everybody was all out in their fraction, they're all working so hard to brew, and they didn't have time to talk about their beer to everybody. We needed something to bring it all together in one place, and that's what the Celebrator did.
Well, it was probably one of the early publications. There weren't very many beer publications when this started 25 years ago. I think there were only maybe one other than this one, and I won't say who they are because, you know, this is all about Celebrator tonight. It was originally California Celebrator, and then coverage expanded and became the Celebrator Beer News. Tom took it over a few years after it had started by Julie and Brett Nichols, and Tom really built it into what it is today.
Well, it started out as the original beer-centric newspaper that brought together all the breweries, all the pubs, all the events, and has continued to write about them and expose them to the public.
Cheers.
It's been quite a deal. There's little beer newspapers all over the country, but they're the first and the biggest and the best.
It's definitely Celebrator's definitely brought exposure to the consumer, you know, because they're a consumer newspaper, and yeah, they've definitely, you know, on a regular basis brought, you know, craft beer to the consumer, and, you know, we love Tom for it, and, you know, and here's to Arlene for putting up with Tom for all these years.
The Celebrator went from being a little stapled together, you know, actual newsletter, kind of a handout, to being a publication where people in the industry can see whatever other people are doing. There are writers in various markets who not only look at what people who are drinking beer there would like, but think about the trends that other people in the industry would like. And it's in that way, it's really kind of pulled together a community in terms of both brewers and beer appreciators. And I'm really happy that I went from being someone who used to carry the Celebrator in my car in case I was in another town and I wanted to find out where there'd be decent beer, to now being able to write for the publication, which is really fun.
I'm so blown away by the amount of people that come to all these events. And it was so small. There was 20 breweries in California, and it was California Celebrator.
Beer Week has been great. You know, we've been covering it for the Celebrator, and it's always wonderful to end it with the Celebrator party. It's a great tradition for a great newspaper and a great set of brewers.
Well, I haven't had it this year yet. Just a taster, please? Sure.
I gotta get all those drops that drip.
Yeah, absolutely.
There'll be an extra glass at the end of the night.
Well, each drop is worth $3. So this is also known as liquid crack. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I think it. Well, it mainly means that Tom Daldorf is really old. I mean, he's probably 85 years old now, I think. So, but no, it's a great accomplishment. It speaks to how ingrained this industry is getting in the United States and really across the world, and start hitting these big anniversaries like that. It really gives you pause about the folks like Tom who were the pioneers in the industry. And when he started that publication, it was a very different world for craft beer, and so that gives us some context for some of the folks who may not have been around for 25 years, who may not have been born when he started that magazine, that publication.
Who? Daldorf? I've never heard of him. He's just some poser, I think.
I hear he started the magazine as an elementary school project, so I think he's 30. I did the same thing earlier. That's my guess.
He plays the guitar better than he can write.
Beer is a very stressful business, so you attribute any of the gray, that's just stress. I think he's 30. Pretty sure.
Tom's been around the beer industry and the wine industry before that for quite some time. He was the owner of what is now the Bistro in Hayward before Vic and Cynthia bought it. So he's been in the industry for a long time. Opportunity came for him to purchase a Celebrator from Brett and Julie Nichols, and he's taken it and run with it. You know, when I first started writing for the magazine, it was still a kind of a newspaper-ish kind of looking thing, and now it's got the real nice glossy cover, the beautiful pictures. I think we're doing a good job for the beer industry as a whole, and for the craft beer industry specifically. And I think we're going to have another good 25 years ahead of us.
People have always asked me, what's your favorite beer? And I've always have said, oh, I hope it hasn't been brewed yet. Well, that is all coming true now.